overwhelming support for Governor Gavin Newsom in the recall. What his own campaign strategist says this means for him moving forward.
The Republican recall candidates, which ones fared better than others?
So it looks like Governor Newsom survived the recall election, but how easy is it to get those on the ballot?
Vaccination mandates are being discussed at the Imperial Beach City Council meeting. 6 options are on the table.
Concerns over schools' dress codes, what students are saying, and how one demonstration on the issue got out of hand.
And where a police officer pulled a gun on a man riding a horse in the middle of the city. News 8 at 6 starts now.
The effort to recall Governor Gavin Newsom has failed. But where does this leave things in Sacramento today? Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. While Newsom supporters are happy with the outcome, many people are upset at the time and the cost of the election to taxpayers. We'll have more on that in just a moment.
Our political reporter Morgan Reiner starts us tonight with where things stand with the governor right now.
Newsom's own strategist said that this shows not only how strong Governor Gavin Newsom is, but the Democratic Party of California overall. In a conversation today, he was asked whether any of Newsom's actions led up to this point, this recall, and he denied that altogether, saying, if anything, the overwhelming support that Newsom received last night justifies almost, emphasis on almost, all of Gavin Newsom's actions up to this point.
You guys are the best.
Right back to work.
In the first school system in the United States, a state level to require masking to get our kids safely back into school.
Newsom in Alameda County today highlighting efforts to combat COVID-19.
By slapping down that recall so forcefully, Governor Newsom emerges as a stronger political figure, not just in California, but nationally. For one thing, he's not going to have to worry about any rogue Democrats challenging him next year in the governor's race.
Political analyst Steve Swat told me Republicans would be wasting their money in California by backing an ideologue like Larry Elder in the next race for governor.
As of last night, it looks like he does not have to appeal to those 3 million Republicans who don't like him. And there were some Democrats and independents in there.
But added it would be silly of Newsom not to.
Going forward is not going to be a bed of roses. California still faces a number of crises that have been talked about during the campaign: income inequality, homelessness, crime, a number of other issues. And these issues will test his leadership ability, and they could affect public opinion.
Political analyst Wendy Patrick does not think Newsom should be taking a victory lap.
If a recall in such a populous blue state can actually get off the ground. Governor Newsom, on his part, is regrouping. He's taking a brief bit of a respite, but he's going to start working on his agenda for the regular election next year.
We know Newsom is going to run again, but his team says he's going to focus on work right now, not the campaign. Kevin Faulconer's advisors say they hope he runs again, calling him the moderate that this recall needed to be successful, even though he didn't do well last night. Larry Elder's advisors say that we'll find out in the next few weeks if he's going to run again, and pointed to the millions of votes he received last night.
All right, Morgan, thanks. For the Republican Party, the recall race clearly separated the field of candidates for future elections.
Larry Elder is now a household name, but Caitlyn Jenner didn't even finish in the top 10. News 8's Steve Price takes a closer look at what the recall race means for some Republicans moving forward, including former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer.
With Governor Gavin Newsom easily holding on to his job, the Republicans hoping to replace him are forced to take a closer look at their campaigns and their chances in the future. According to a local political expert, voters send some messages that cannot be ignored.
We may have lost the battle, but we are going to win the war.
Larry Elder outpaced his nearest Republican challenger in Tuesday's recall race by better than a 5-to-1 margin, making him the party's clear top candidate heading into next year's race for governor.
he can appeal to the Republican base far more than a John Cox or a Kevin Faulconer can, right? He brings that Donald Trump-like persona. He shoots from the hip. He has strong positions that rally that base.
But Thad Kauser, a political science professor at UC San Diego, says don't be fooled by Elder capturing 47% of the vote, because many Democrats who voted on the recall question did not vote for a replacement candidate.
So many voters, 4 million, nearly half the voters sat out that replacement contest. So that strong showing by Larry Elder is really among mostly Republican voters.
Tonight was round one. There's more to come. Thank you, guys. Thank you all very much.
Among Republicans, Kevin Faulconer finished a distant second to Elder. Even in his home county, the former mayor of San Diego lost by almost a 3-to-1 margin.
I think Kevin Faulconer didn't do anything to hurt himself in this race, didn't have a scandal, right? Didn't have any major missteps. He just didn't excite the Republican base.
Kauser thinks Faulconer is not the type of candidate the state's Republican base is looking for, and probably should pivot to another office.
I think running in a very competitive or Republican-leaning congressional district, that gives Kevin Faulconer a lot more hope of a political future than trying to run through a Republican primary and then capture the governorship in this very blue state.
This is only the beginning. You know that.
Elder definitely hinted that he plans to run for governor again in 2022. And in politics, things can change in a hurry. But after Tuesday's vote, political experts say Newsom seems tough to beat. In Kearney Mesa, Steve Price, News 8.
And coming up in our next half hour, is the recall process in California too easy? What political analysts are saying tonight about the recall reform needed in our state.
A 17-year-old boy accused of shooting and killing a young woman in University City last week was charged in juvenile court today.
But prosecutors say they will try to have this case heard in an adult court. Last Friday, San Diego police responded to reports of a shooting near the intersection of La Jolla Village and Town Center Drives. They found 19-year-old Irene Salgado Aceves shot inside of a car that they say the suspect was riding in.
Right now, the Imperial Beach City Council is discussing vaccine mandates for its workforce.
Leaders are looking into several options, including requiring the shots as a term of employment. News 8's Heather Hope breaks down the proposals.
The city of Imperial Beach is exploring 6 different vaccine mandate options, including requiring all employees to get the vaccine or risk being fired, requiring all new employees to get the vaccine, or having a vaccine mandate and testing option available. Those items are being discussed right now.
So the staff prepared some options for discussion and consideration.
Taking up the issue of requiring the COVID-19 vaccination for all Imperial Beach City employees, the IB City Council is reviewing their options.
Basically, the status forms gave them the options of either indicating that they're not vaccinated, that they've declined, or they've had their first appointment.
The 6 vaccine mandate options on the table are mandate vaccines for all IB employees or risk being fired, mandate vaccines for just new hires, mandate vaccination or weekly testing, extend the proof of vaccination period, combine any of these previous options, or don't change anything but encourage vaccination.
I think it's a good idea, but I also understand the hesitancy to require anything for a broad swath of people.
Some Imperial Beach residents and visitors were unsure if a vaccine mandate was necessary for city employees.
It's probably going to help. It's probably for the best, but it's tough once you start crossing the line of telling people what they have to do to their bodies.
The South Bay leaders discussed how the city of San Diego is the only agency in San Diego County to have a vaccine mandate for all city employees as a condition of employment. The city's vaccination chart shows 72% of Imperial Beach administrative staff, 44% of maintenance and operations, 29% of public safety, and 100% of recreation staff have been vaccinated. Leaders say if the city council chooses mandating vaccination or requiring weekly negative testing, that will cost the city approximately $17,750 a week just for testing and more for the paid employee time to and from the facility.
I would say yes.
For longtime IB resident Michael Sanch, with his dog Cindy, he says more people in the city should get the shot.
For me, it's okay. I mean, it's safe for everybody.
By the end of tonight's Imperial Beach meeting, council members can either request additional information or continue this vaccine mandate item to a future meeting. Heather Hope, News 8.
All right, Heather, thanks. With all of the focus on the COVID vaccine, healthcare professionals say don't forget about getting your flu shot. Many local medical facilities and pharmacies are already giving out the shot. Health experts say you can actually get both the COVID vaccine and the flu shot during the same visit.
That's actually a great time because CDC has said that you can get vaccines at the same time. So if you haven't got the COVID vaccine yet, might as well go in and get the flu and the COVID vaccine at the same time.
The CDC recommends receiving your flu shot by the end of October, but local health experts suggest getting it as soon as possible.